Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to myself Deepa Kulkarni. I'm studying in the M.Ed third sem, cases PG College of Education. Today I'm going to tell you about the experimental research. It's when we should use the experimental research and what all are the types, the advantages, disadvantages, and the learning objectives, introduction part, meaning, definition, everything I'm going to tell you in this video. Today we'll start with the introduction part of the experimental research. It contains many of the sections like types of the advantage research, experimental research, and its users, when we should use the and its techniques and everything. So it describes in detail nature of experimental research in this video. Discuss about the essential characteristics of the experimental research: control, manipulation, and observation, replication. And briefly we will evaluate the experimental research and also its experimental research in education. And next one deals briefly with the value of experimental research in the education. And some of the section in this video describes the detail of the nature of the experimental research, its designs, appropriates, adequacy, control. And apart from this, we'll see the different types of experimental design: pre and post sorry pre-experimental design, and true experimental design, quasi experimental designs. And also experimental research will just see the its meaning. Experimental research, actually it is a study that strictly adhere to a scientific research design. It includes a hypothesis, variable, and that can be manipulated by the researcher, and variable that can be measured, calculated, and compared. So most importantly, experiment research is completed in a control environment. So let us first we'll see the its a learning objective. We'll go for the learning objectives. The first one, we can say that it describes the nature of the experimental research, like control, manipulation, and one more thing is observation and the replication. And is the nature of the experimental research. Describe the methods of controlling inter-subject differences and methods of controlling situational variables. And describe the experimental research in education, what all are the methods we are using. And explain the which researcher may adopt, including the experimental research. So, and one more thing, experimental design will define an experimental design and describe the important criteria which is researcher must keep in a mind while selecting the experimental design for conducting the experiment. So now we will go for the meaning and the definitions of the experimental design. So first I'm going to tell you about the definitions. Introduction part already over, so this introduction done. So we'll come to the experimental research, the definitions and the meaning. Experimental research is a research conducted with a scientific approach using the sets of variables. The first set acts as a constant and which you use to measure the differences of the second one. So next, but it is a quantitative research method. So for example, experiment I'm going to tell you, if you don't have enough data to support your decisions, you must first determine the facts. Experimental research gathers to the data necessary to help you make better decisions. Okay, next, any research conducted under scientifically acceptable conditions, experimental methods, the success of experimental studies hinges on the researchers confirming the change of the variables based on the manipulation of the constant variable. So the research should be establish a notable causes or effects. So we can conduct experimental research. We can conduct experimental research in the following statements or following situations, we can say. So first thing is time a vital factor. It means establishing a relationship between the cause and the effect, relationship between the cause and the effect. And the next, knowable behavior between the cause and the effect. And also you wish to understand the importance between the cause and the effect. So introduction part and the meaning and the definition. This is the some of the procedures that we are how we are going to conduct the research and the experimental research. So okay, this is one image showing the experimental and advantages of the experimental designs. Now, the next concept we're going to study about is types of experimental research design. So basically here three types of experimental design: pre-experimental design, true experimental design, and the quasi-experimental design. Just I'm going to tell you the types and their brief the method how to conduct and what will be the main content in the each of the experimental research design. So firstly we'll start with the first one. First we'll know what all are the, one more time we'll know what all are the types of experimental research design. So the classic experimental research definition is, first we'll see the methods used to collect data in experimental studies. So there are three main types in experimental research, experimental design. The first one, as I told, pre-experimental design, true experimental design, and the quasi-experimental design. So the way you classify this is research subjects based on the conditions or the group or the variables determines the type of the design. So in these three, which one we have to apply, when we should apply, that all everything. Next, the first we'll see pre-experimental design. So in this pre-experimental design, only one variable or one content is important, that is only the manipulation. We'll see the only manipulation in this pre-experimental design. Here we can't see the control or randomization. They both are the absent in pre-research design. So only one content, that is manipulation. Okay, so I'm telling you a little more about the pre-experimental design. So a group of various groups, a group or many groups or the various groups are kept under the observation. After the implementing factors of cause and effect, you will conduct this research, understand where further investigation is necessary. Okay, for these particular groups we are using, so we can break down pre-experimental research further into three types. So that is one short cause study research design, one group, and the one more is static group. So these are the little brief information about the pre-experimental design. So next we'll go see just now I have given this slide actually, before I have forgotten to set this slide. So these all are the three. So here first one I completed the pre-experimental design, and we'll come to the second one, that is true experimental design. This is also a type of the experimental design. It contains, true experimental contains all the three contents. For example, all the three contents means what? What all are these? The first one is the manipulation, randomization, and the control. So okay, manipulation, you know that one child is, for example, I'm going to give you, one child is crying and he wanted to have a chocolate. So we are observing why it is why he is the baby boy or the girl baby is crying, so he's wanting the chocolates. If we give the chocolate and this child will stop crying, so that is called manipulation, the act, we can say the act. So here in the true research, experimental research design, manipulation, randomization, and the control, all the three contents will be present in this experimental design. And true experimental research design is the experimental research rules on the statistical analysis to uh, prove or disprove a hypothesis, making the most accurate from research of types of experimental design. Only true design can establish a cause effect relationship within group. In a true experimental design also, there are be the factors that be need satisfied, or there is a control group which won't be subject to changes, okay, and an experimental group which will experience the. So there is a control group. Sorry for that. There is a control group which can be subject to changes, and experimental group which will experience the change variables. Okay. The second one, we can say the variable which can be manipulated by the researcher. Just now I told, giving the chocolates to the child, that one. Okay. Next one, random distribution. Here randomization is also there. Manipulation, the second point I told, described about, I gave the information about you. And first one is the control. So all the three contents are present in this group. So experimental design method commonly occurs in the physical sciences. Okay, now the next one is, to say the last one is quasi experimental design. So quasi experimental design, here the two contents are present in this quasi experimental design. The first one, as usual, manipulation will be present in this quasi experimental design. And one more is the second content, either the randomization or the control, any one will be present in this quasi experimental design. Got you? So first one, in quasi, manipulation will be there, it is present in this. Okay, the second one is either the control or randomization, any one of these two is present in the quasi experimental design. And the word quasi, the meaning indicates itself is similarly, okay, a quasi experimental design is similar to experimental, but it is not the design is similar to the it is but same, different between the two is the assignment of a control group in this research. In this research, an independent variable is manipulated, but the participation of the group are not random assigned. Okay, so this is the information about the quasi experimental design. So one more thing, I'm going to repeat this, the types of the experimental design, and the what all are the contents present in this. First one, there are three types, that is first one, pre-experimental design, the true experimental design, and the quasi-experimental design. The pre-experimental design, only one content is present, is that only the manipulation. And true experimental design, all the three contents are present, that is manipulation, randomization, and the control. And the third one, quasi experimental design, only two contents, manipulation is compulsory present. And the second one is either randomization or the one more is control. So let us go for the next, it's advantages. So here the slide has come, pre-experimental design, where here only one randomization is present. sorry, manipulation is present. And then this is a one flow chart regarding that. And the second one is to experimental research design. In that all the three contents are available, that is randomization, manipulation, and the control. And the next one, quasi experimental design. In this we can see only two: randomization, either control, sorry, first one is manipulation, either randomization or control. And we'll see the advantages of the this experimental design. Just I'm going to tell you about this. The first one, it is actually vital. It's a vital to test new ideas or the theories. Why put them in effort and funding into something that may not work. And experimental research design allows us to test your once again, just change this slide. Okay, allow us to test idea in controlled environment before taking into market, or before taking into the present. Also provides the most method to test our theory. So next one, we'll go for the conclusion part. So here conclusion. So here experimental research design are often considered to the standard in research designs, and this is the partly due to the common misconception that research is equivalent to scientific experiments, and a component of experiment research design. And in this research design we can say that one or more subjects are independent variables randomly assigned to different treatments, and independent variables are manipulated by the researcher. And we can say, okay, and the results are observed by conclude. One of the unequalness of experimental research is in its ability to control the effect of external variables. So experimental research is a suitable for research whose goal is to examine cause and effect relationship, cause and effect. So this both relationship. For example, experimentary research we can say. And finally it can be conducted in the laboratory or field settings, or the education fields we are using, depending on the aim of the researchers, and that is being carried out. So this was my brief introduction, brief information about the experimental research, its meaning, its definitions, and its types of experimental research design, its types and their meanings, and when we are using this experimental research design, and the advantages of the experimental design. So here I'm winding up my video regarding the experimental design. I'll be back with another video. Oh, thank you everyone. So finally, just one limitations I forgotten to explain. Limitation: the design fails to control the effects due to history. For example, I'm going to tell you factors such as climate changes examinations may contribute to the observed change in the independent variable. Okay, this is the first limitation we can say. Because of the repeat tests, when we are doing the testing in the repeat test, there may be the kind of interaction effects of testing that would restricts the findings of the those population which have been subjected to repeating the testing. Okay, then the third one, the usual statistics, whatever we are doing, tests of significance may not be appropriate with the time series design. So these are the limitations of this randomization research. So research design, experimental research design. So today I'm winding up here this experimental topic, experimental research. So we'll meet you in the next video. Thank you everyone.